And we're live. What's going on, people? I am Andrew Leonard. This is my co-host right here, Eric Kevlag. Eric, say hi to the people, man.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday. We got about 5 more days till the big game. I'm
Yes,
pumped
sir.
up. Andrew's pumped up. We're here to give you some good content today. Andrew, kick it off.
Yeah, for sure, man. This is the RPM Way episode 3, and we're hopping in here. We got some good topics to talk about. First off, we kind of just want to go into, what we're doing right now. Last week, we told you Eric went all in on running a half marathon in about, what was it, said 7 weeks away. So he's getting into training with that. So he's going to tell you a little about, like, how was week 1, right? How was the journey, going from the couch to running a half marathon in 7 weeks, right? You got to be a tough dude mentally to get through that, tough dude or girl, right? But I'm 11 weeks out from Glass City, right? Shooting for that sub 3 hour marathon. Last week of training was pretty good. My long run of the week was 14 miles. I ran around 7:22 pace, I believe. Might be off a couple seconds there. And then this week we had a long run of 16 miles. So 16 miles on Friday. Gonna get that in again. Should be around that 7:20 pace. Just out there cruising. Really, it's gonna be a 40 mile week, first 40 mile week of training. And like I said, we're 11 weeks out, so super excited for it. Just getting up there, getting ready. This week I did some of my sprint work was running at race day, a little faster than race day pace, and a run of sub 3. We're shooting for 650 pace. So that's 650 pace for 26.2 miles. That's what we're going for. So, we had some 24 minutes of that pace, a little faster than that pace in my training this week. But Rick, you got into it, man. The people know that I'm running, right? If they followed my journey at all, right? I'm the marathon guy. I'm the guy doing these different marathons across the country and whatnot. But you're just that dude, you're the guy who came from being a Division I college football player to lifting weights. And now you said, yo, I want in. I went in on the half marathon. You signed up for one last week. I was super pumped to write a program and get everything ready for you for that, because I know like how much I love it, and I'm how obsessed you're gonna be with it. So you just went through week 1 in training. It's Wednesday, right? So you're halfway through week 2. How are you feeling? Tell the people kind of the good, the bad, the ugly of this past week and a half.
Yeah, for starters, though, if anybody doesn't understand or doesn't know, a 650 pace for a mile, for 1 mile is incredible. To be able to run that 26 times over the course of less than 3 hours is an incredible feat. So if anybody thinks that's any type of easy, you're completely wrong. And I highly recommend you get on a treadmill and put it to a 650 pace and see how long you can keep up. Because that, my man, Andrew, is something that, less than 1% of people can accomplish. So I commend you for that. In terms of my week 1, it was a little bit of challenging. I'm not going to lie. I think a lot of the challenge was my body getting used to the endurance run. My quads start to hurt after mile 2 or 3. My groin starts to hurt. But a lot of it is just mental toughness, because running can get boring once in a while, right? Especially if you're running on a long straight trail. There's nobody out there. It's just trees, maybe a creek or something like that. It can get boring. So you're just kind of in your own thoughts, right? Listening to music, podcast, whatever you're doing. Um, so it can get tough. But honestly, each day I felt better, right? I felt like I could go quicker, longer each day. I think first day I ran 25 minutes at an easy pace. The next day I ran for 3 miles at a tempo, which was like 3 to 4 effort, 5 to 6, and then 7 to 8 or so.
Yeah.
Had a rest day in there. Then I ran another 3 miles at a more consistent pace. Had a rest day,
Let
and then
me let me let me stop you there, Eric. Let me stop you there. You say rest day. How important is it, to be doing something on that rest day, right? Because I know people are like, rest day, are you sitting on the couch and eating Doritos? Like what are you doing? I want you to, because like you're the guy. Like when it comes to recovery and getting your body right and stuff like that, and going to school for it and being able to recover after a tough workout, right? Like, or back when we're talking about the Temple football days, like after a tough practice. So you're now getting into this training. And I know I told you, like, hey, your rest days are the most important days of the week. And I know like you put a huge emphasis on that. So I really do, man. I want you to stop and take 2 minutes and just tell people, like, on a rest day, kind of what your routine is. Besides, like, you don't have to get into the hydration and the nutrition, because obviously that's super important. And staying very, very hydrated extremely important during training. But just get into like just talk a little bit about that for the people.
Yeah, obviously nutrition, hydration, everybody knows that you need to be able to do that adequately to perform at a high level. Recovery is probably more important than the actual running portion.
Yeah.
But going through my recovery, I think I took an ice bath about 3 or 4 times this week. 3 times were outside at my buddy's house. The other time was in my own bathtub. Went to Wawa. If you guys aren't on the East Coast, I think Wawas are like 7-Elevens kind of. Bought 4 or 5 ice bags, threw the tub, fill the tub up. I sit in it for like 25 minutes, right? Take an ice bath, real cold water, super cold water, especially for outside. It's 30 degrees out. The water's probably 30 or less. I'm getting in there. I'm sitting in there for 5 minutes. And then I did a little bit of contrast, which is you're 1 minute in cold water, then you're hopping out in 1 minute into hot water. And you do that for about 10 minutes at a time. And it gets the blood flow circulating through your blood vessels. They constrict real tight and then they contract out. And it just helps, speed up the process, I should say. So that's like the number one thing that I have felt has really helped me is ice baths, right? Especially right after I'm having a hard week. I did a 6 mile run and that was hard. That was tough.
Yeah.
Ice bath felt even better the next day. I'm stretching morning and night, sometimes 3 times, stretching the hammies, quads, glutes. I'm rolling out my IT band. I'm rolling out my quads. I'm rolling out my hamstrings. I have about a 30-minute routine morning and night that I'm doing it every single day. I'm also rehabbing a back injury and a shoulder injury at the same time. So it kind of goes into like an hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
So recovery, most important thing. I'm ice bathing. If you don't have access to an ice bath, you know,
Cold showers, man.
yeah,
Get the
take
cold
cold
showers in.
showers, some
That's it.
bags of ice, man, frozen corn, frozen peas, like anything on your knees.
Yeah,
Like it'll be better than nothing.
for sure.
And then stretching is
Yeah.
most important.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. Thanks for explaining that because it is super important. I want people to realize, like, on your rest days, you're doing something, right? You're doing something. You got to break up that lactic acid. You got to keep things moving. You got to keep getting better. So for the rest of the week, right? So you had your rest days, and then on Sunday you had your long run, right? So
Yes.
tell the people about that long run.
So Sunday I had 6 miles. That's double than what I've ever ran before. A month ago, most I ever ran was a mile. Then I ran 3 miles. Now, shit, I'm running 6. I was like, oh, okay. We'll see how this goes. So my buddy Antonio actually came out with me. We ran on trail together, 6 miles. And it wasn't that bad, right? We started out at about a 10:20 pace mile 1. Mile 2 ended up being like 10:07. And then by mile 6, we were running at 8:40, which is a 2-minute difference. It's a big, big deal. It really wasn't that bad. My legs started getting pretty tired towards the end. My knee was kind of starting to bother me a little bit, but just being able to run with somebody always helps. Knowing that, damn, I'm running 6 miles. I got to run 7.1 more of these. I better, kick it into gear here.
Right.
It was fun though. Definitely was real sore. Monday I had a 30-minute easy pace run, the recovery run. You know, um, that's kind of like an off day. It's really like a recovery day because your
Yeah.
recovery never wants to be sitting down doing nothing. You got to get
Right.
moving. You got to have an active recovery. A 30-minute light run is more so like an active recovery. Today I haven't
Absolutely.
ran yet. Today I have 24 minutes of 2-minute sprints and then 2-minute jogs for 24 minutes straight. So
Yeah.
that's
Awesome.
up.
Awesome, man. And I think that's like talking about your Sunday, your long run, right? From a guy who hasn't ran over 3 miles, and then you go ahead and do 6 miles in 1 week. That's a huge thing, right? And that's what I really want to talk about today. It's a great transition. You had your buddy, right? Our buddy Antonio come out there and run with you, a guy who ran the Philly Marathon with me back in November. And you had that person that was with you, like guiding you, right? Helping you get through, suffering with you together through those 6 miles. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today. How important it is to really like having people around you to hold you accountable, right? How many times do we like hold each other accountable throughout the day? Like we check in on each other at least 5 times a day, whether it's, waking up and, stretching and working out and doing, when it comes to business, making sure we're getting all that stuff together. Having those people is super important. And then even like on top of that, you're just at your inner circle. And by your inner circle, what I mean by is like, who are you spending the most time with? Who are you talking to the most, right? When all those people are on the same mission as you, it expands your growth just like to an insane level. It allows you to get so much better in so many different aspects. And you really just talked about it there, Eric. Like, you say like, "Hey, man, I'm going out for 6 miles." Something you haven't done before. Like, this is you've never been here. You've never been there before, right? So for you to go out there, like, let me go get my guy who I know is going to be able to suffer with me through this, and he's going to help me get through this, right?
Mhm.
And it just makes things better. It allows him to hold you accountable. Like, yo, we're picking it up here. We're picking it up here. And just to let the people know, like, Eric started off his run, he just got faster and faster and faster each mile. His 6 mile was his fastest mile, right? So he just got into the groove of things. And he was like, yo, I'm locking in, and I'm setting out a goal, and I'm going to go do this. So, Rick, talk a little bit about that, man. Having that accountability partner and that inner circle, how important is it to you? I know you just did a great example there of firsthand how it helped you on Sunday, but just let people know, like, how important is it to, like, when you're in training or doing anything, like anything that you set a goal out, to have someone to help hold you accountable, and then, like, also bringing that into your inner circle.
Yeah, having someone to hold you accountable. I mean, it's what it's what we've been preaching. It's what we're trying to do. It's running past the motivation, right? My motivation was already met by stepping up onto that trail, knowing, all right, I gotta go do the 6 miles. After mile 4, there isn't really much motivation left because you're dog tired, you need water, your legs hurt, and 4 miles really isn't that much in the grand scheme of things. But to me, it was right. And knowing that I had my buddy Antonio next to me, who's holding me accountable, like I wasn't gonna sit there and stop and then
Yeah,
start walking. Because
right.
then what am I, right? You're quitting at that point, unless you
Yep.
have a serious injury somehow, like God forbid that happens. Then I get it. But being being in a circle where other people are holding you accountable and they're trying to push you to reach new levels, new heights, and if you do it together with somebody, it exponentially increases your growth quicker than it would if you were by yourself. Um, and it's not like Antonio is some guy who's running 2.5 hour marathons, right? He never ran a marathon before in his life. The most miles he ever ran in one time was 10 miles, and that was a week before the race, and he just went and did it.
Yep.
He's like, you know what? I'm an athlete. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go do it.
I'm gonna
Right.
go suffer.
That's the type of people I want to be around. And Andrew's
Right.
that person too. Right.
Yeah.
So knowing that he did that, I knew he wasn't going to let me, feel sorry for myself and not run those 6 miles. But having someone is just so important. And if you don't, this is what we're trying to do for you, is have not just only someone, but some buddies. So
Absolutely, bro. That's exactly it, right? Like, this has transitioned so well, because that's the community that, that's the RPM way right there, right? That's running past motivation. That's the community that we've built, where we just bring a ton of, like, high level men and women that aren't they're not the best athletes, but they're just the most passionate about getting better in all aspects, right? Whether it's, books and, business, and, if they want to be the best at learning, right? Like, do everything with a passion unknown to mankind, no matter what it is. Like, how can we get better? And that's just, bringing all these people together, holding these Zoom events that we hold, where everyone just hops on the Zoom and we're all talking about different things, how we can get better here and here. It's just a family, right? Building a family that's all connected on the same mission. That's what we have built, at Running Past Motivation. And that's the RPM way right there, doing stuff together, helping each other achieve your goals. And I love it, man. Your accountability partners, that's what we provide at the RPM way. And your inner circle, all of us are just on that. We're on that mission to run past motivation, whether that's, you're stuck at somewhere in your business and you got to get past it. Let's talk to some people in the RPM family, right? No matter what you're doing, if you're getting ready for a marathon, you're trying to hit a new PR, or you're trying to go bench 315, whatever your goals are, you're just trying to get out and start doing yoga, whatever it is, that's what we bring to the table. That's what will help hold you accountable. And that's what the family does day in and day out. That's what we preach. That's what we love. Rick, that's all I got, man. You got anything else to say to the people?
I got nothing. I've been speaking enough on this call, man. You guys have a great day, man. Go Birds, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday.
Go Birds, guys. Yo, everyone, have a great one. Thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate you. This is the RPM way. Have a great one.
Like, comment, follow, and subscribe too.
Yes, sir.